5 seconds to go. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, I am standing to support the bill, every clause of it with all the amendments. However, I have a few suggestions. I would like the government and the minister to take note of them. The great and important leader of Europe told this ambassador, if you go to London, go to the share market, then you will feel its pulse and know its health and politics. The share market is controlled remotely or fully by the Company Law Board in our country. So, any amendment to the company law in a progressive way is going to help the growth, economic growth. If it is otherwise, it will be detrimental to the growth. What is happening today in our country in the field of company law and how it is functioning. The company law is represented in the states by the registrar of companies. Today, in the eyes of the law, everyone is equal. Whether you are a company with two persons or with rupees 20,000 capital or hundreds of shareholders with hundreds and crores of shares, the forms and formats made are the same for everyone. One more important question arises so far as the number of these communities is concerned. That was a very difficult task. Now, what happened in 2011 was naturally representations were made to the government that we ought to give up encouraging or perpetuating caste system, and therefore when the 2011 census had to be prepared, the question arose as to whether government should have the enumeration through their officers in respect of the members of the separate castes as well, or whether the enumeration should be confined to the groups or categories of scheduled castes as a whole and scheduled tribes as a whole. For example, take a particular community, the Bhil community. In some of the former census, we had these communities shown separately, but in the 2011 census, on account of the decision that the government took, there was this view that we should not go on perpetuating the various castes and tribes. The desire was to amalgamate all of them under these two recognized heads, namely the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. Therefore, a separate enumeration as bill was not generally mentioned. I am mentioning only one community, not the others. What was done was, when the man stated that he belonged to a particular tribe or a caste, then the enumerator found out whether he was one of the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes recognized by the president's order. Then his name was shown in the category of scheduled castes or scheduled tribes without mentioning the special community. Afterwards, this commission was appointed. One of the results of the appointment of this commission was naturally the accentuation of the emphasis on castes and tribes. Every community began to plead because, after all, certain rights were given. The political right of representation was also given. and therefore every community thought it advisable to claim that either they were a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe.